place on December 21st, usually the Yule. This year it's around 4:47 p.m. on a Wednesday, and this marks the point which the sun has attained its waning limit. The light we're able to observe from the sun soon begins to increase once again. And in some cultures, the winter solstice has been called the moment of the sun's death and inevitable rebirth. In most cultures, outside of those who absorb the ideas of traditional Chinese medicine, actually view the winter solstice as this formal beginning of the winter season, the Yule in the pagan. Now, darkness comes earlier than at any other time of the year, and the sun shines at its lowest point in the sky. This is the yinnest of yin times of the year. And in ancient Egypt, what's also curious, it's the time of year marked by the observance of the return of Ra.
Inshallah and Ashe. Blessings to you. It's a Musing Monday. I'm going to switch that to a Mystic Monday soon. But while we're waiting for people to hop on to the show to tune in or even dive into the replay later, the Galactic Center. It's like having a conversation with God, our own personal God channel. It's like, what is our why, our purpose to the divine, the story there, the beliefs that we can act upon today, maybe streaming into motion, parts of our narrative, a chapter. Maybe we're editing our script, the script of our story, just tightening up the dots and the whys and whatnot, the verbs, the adjectives, updating the ingredients, if you will. So this energy is an action energy to take, and it's being kind of installed or downloaded by what we feel intuitively. That's the main ingredient. It's the verb more than the adjective that really contributes to our life purpose, our personal medicine, our soul's journey, that harmonic. So act with what you believe in your heart. And furthermore, if it feels like a long haul, an overdue long haul, that's just might be what's instigating the change. But this is the last day of the energy of Jupiter, which is on, it's dancing on my natal Chiron at the moment, healing the wounds of a timeline or a lifetime with Sandalphon, the song. Sandalphon's always singing with me or to me. So it's not going to be here for 12 years. And Venus is also dancing at the Chiron degree, and Mars is moving to the Chiron degree. So we do have Jupiter also churning at this degree as well. So really check out your natal Chiron to sense intuitively what you feel, the wounds that you are healing. So it's our last push of faith at the wheel, if you will. So it's time to show up with your heart self first, healing the wounds of a lifetime or a timeline, and honoring your personal medicine, your gift and your purpose, and being authentic to your narrative, your own script, your story. So you may feel as if who or what comes today may need to be kind of handled with some kindness. Aligning with integrity is the key to all these creations, spiritual integrity. So this may open the door to an old wound of your ego self, your characters that maybe you put under the rug. And this is where the kindness comes in the cosmic soup. So just observe, watch, heal, and feel, and adjust, rinse, and before you repeat, you want to do that. So your heart literally is the prime directive, taking the lead for the success in whatever this healing is to transform and transmute. We got this, right? This is the story. Along with integrity with words. So you may experience words that have either a magnetic or an electric charge to them, like lightning. And words carry power. Sometimes it reminds me of the book Power versus Force. Words carry power. Sometimes a direct force may be spewing. So often we need to express certain words to heal. So be kind to your inner voice as well as your dialect outside of you. So as long as we are present, as long as we are embodied with an intention to heal magically, the exchange is going to carry like a sigil. The power, it's time for the resolution to the solution for whatever that is that needs to be healed. Traumas or otherwise, of the issues that are bubbling to the springs. So it's kind of time to access a belief about our future life, our future story, to be authentic, to be true. If you authentically believe in the future that you are creating, it's a lot more fun, and you're also in alignment. You are co-creating with Creator, and we're all a part of this. So often it sounds simple, and our mind really gets entangled in a web usually. So be open to those heartfelt choices and opportunities. Be ready to start a creative project. one that produces something different, maybe something new and innovative. But the core of our purpose is that personal medicine. It should be overflowing today, excelling, that's my new word for Jupiter, excelling the energy for a yes and what else? Yes and, like seriously, and what else? So with that, welcome to today's Daily Snippet. Once again, I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, and a subtle energetic surgeon. And I do go by the term holistic shaman medium, which is a blending, a merging of it all. But my intention is to utilize the indigenous technologies, the origins, along with the elemental realms, our original divine blueprint, to navigate our soul's harmonic through these realms, elemental, imaginal, into and through the shaman's portal, and really so much more. I don't know why I say that. Obviously, it resonates. The subtle energies, the cosmic highway, and really so much more. With offerings, prescriptions, and rituals, the origin kind, the otherworldly, and really just to add to your own sauce of your personal main stage ingredients, your personal container. Within those ingredients, that's your personal medicine. It's your prime directive. It's your purpose. Just assisting you maybe in discovering or navigating whatever that is for you, whether it's your personal medicine, your inner genius. It's ultimately the star that I believe we all are. We've all got our own celebrity walk of fame, I'm telling you. And maybe reintroducing you to your own magical being, the starlight, the essence within you, so that you do shine brighter. There's no reason to dim your star. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. It's kind of like my own hut, if you will. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channels, please do, YouTube or otherwise. I know I've got a few. I'm slimming it down, though, I'm telling you. Tonya D on YouTube, or Musing with Tonya D, my podcast. And Saturn. Saturn is in the house for the final podcast of the Otherworldly Insights. That's going to arrive in your inbox today, in a few hours. And today, the root center is activated, and then we actually have the Earth star. It's literally like bringing it all down the chimney from the soul's harmonic. So it's like, what beliefs are chiming in or coming down the chimney for you? And are you able to hold a solid tonality, a solid note, a musical tone? And with that, let's give a shout out to the community, the village, my online village. Thank you so much. And new subscribers, those of you that have been tuning in for a while as well, since the beginning. I've been doing this every day for over a year now. Gratitude. And also those that tune in on the replay, Ahhhh and blessings. Thank you for that. And if you don't mind, of course, hitting the bell button and the white button, that's awesome. And remember, a comment or a share does get you a message for your day to get you on your way, streaming in. You can also find me, of course, on other social channels, even Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And just remember, I am your otherworldly shamanic assistant. You truly are your own healer, but sometimes we need somebody to get us out of our own magical way to assist us, because we do create our own chaos sometimes, right? Things happen for us, not to us. And the daily snippet, what do I muse about here? The cosmic energy insights, the elementals, not just of the galaxy and of the earth, and a message for our day, and subtle energy centers along with the season, which we're moving into the season of Capricorn. So this is like the galaxy is literally giving us a push, initiating an action to take on the behalf of an opportunity. So there's a belief that has the energy and the power and the force. So this really is power versus force. It's our actions, our character, our behavior being led by intuitively feeling it. And the crown and the sacral, our emotional empathy, and the prophetic answer might just come in. So did you wake up feeling more ambitious than normal, more excited, more passionate, maybe anxious, could be a little impatient? You could feel even overwhelmed because your list of appointments is running over. I literally am having a day like that, but I know I have the energy to keep up. But take your left hand, put it on your heart, and connect to your feelings, your sacral, and ground into the elemental of the day. Send the excess excelling energy into the root by divine design, and then into the earth star. It's a day to take it literally to the cosmic round table, take it to the limits, moving towards the future of what our otherworldly big vision is, the vision of our heart, one that our heart believes in, and the heart feels it, and intuitively it's aligned, it's resonating, you are frequenting that frequency. So whatever move you make in the chessboard of life, it should be symbolic of the highest of highs. So if what your soul believes within yourself, your heart corridor, your personal medicine, your story, stream that forward into what you want to invest in the future. But on the other side of the coin, because there's always the flip side, it's unwise to move the pawn if it goes against what you believe. That's kind of the frequency of the day. And in doing so, it then creates what I would call an entanglement of negativity. If you have to do something that your heart doesn't believe in, it's not resonating, try to wait until we are at the doors of Capricorn, at the 11th hour, so to speak, which is in a few days. So you may find yourself at that doorway, starting a new project, a job, a relationship, investing in yourself, and it moves the night, serving the queen on the latest beliefs. Or maybe even you move forwards with a ritual that sets the stage. It's a symbolic action that needs to be taken that really represents the new narrative of your own heart's opinion of that belief and opportunity. And then there's a chain reaction that's going to take place energetically to form a manifestation, beginning with the new chapter that you've been scripting. So be poetic in your narrative, or a little prophetic. Take time and take that to the stage with a new script that really represents the story of your authentic life, the one you're supposed to be living. It's really about baby steps. Baby steps actually alter the big steps. So it's like, imagine a pebble, skipping a pebble, a stone across a lake. It's similar to that, and yet very powerful at the same time. It's just the baby things carry more energy, believe it or not, the yin frequency. With that, just a few announcements. I actually have some this week, but here's our options. We've got the Galactic Center, we've got the Yule blessings, and Jupiter. Whew, Jupiter's moving, so I went with Jupiter. Those are your options for the messages of the day, which are coming from the Shadowscapes. I love this deck. It's very ethereal. It's kind of got the pagans, the Celtics, and all that in it. But just a few announcements. What's on the highway? We have the Yule. We're going to enter the season of Capricorn, and we also have a new moon. I do have a ritual posted in the Musing corridor, the private village, tomorrow. The first ritual actually needs to be done tomorrow. I already posted that last week, but tomorrow is for the new moon on the 23rd. So just to get you ready, it's really kind of a day. This whole week is like putting energy in to contemplate your plans and your goals for 2023. Like, you're going to muse about what the year is going to look like. You're going to script it out and make it real. The rising of the origins is opening up the end of January into the Chinese New Year. A water rabbit, by the way. I'll dive into that later. However, be sure to hop on in and join. There's some goodies, as always, in the portal. And the Shamanic Healing Academy is also going to be live January. Mentorship and limited opportunities for that, by the way. The membership is totally open. But the Shamanic Healing Academy is for intuitive psychics, medicine peoples of all kinds, a village, a community. So if you're at the threshold of your personal medicine, whatever that is, be sure to join the wait list, because we're all magical beings. And if your soul is nudging you to be a part of the village, join me at tonyad.com and check your inbox. I do also have the Yule podcast out there. So like I said, there's a lot happening this wintry week. But your options for the messages, the Yule blessings, which is awesome, a Yule log. I've never made one. Maybe I'll try. The Galactic Center is today, and of course, Jupiter is moving into Aries. So we've got stuff moving. You might even feel that Aries energy moving. Okay, on the elemental highway. So I'm not going to post this yet. The elemental highway, what do I do with this? What's it even about? So there's a different energy that we're all born into elementally, and this gives insight, especially if you're an energy healing practitioner or energy medicine or an artist of energy healing, I prefer, or the evening of elemental energy. I work with the energies of the elements using light, sound, and vibration through the body, through the skin, the acupuncture points, and really so much more, fluids and all the things. For healing, it's a healing venue, just adding energy medicine to your practice using the elementals through the skin, because the skin is a reflective organ. It really is the largest organ. It's kind of like I would call it the etheric barrier that matter, but the body never lies. So it's like feng shui for the body is what I do. So reading the language of the body through the elementals, we all have these, and healing the body, healing the home, or vice versa. That would be the environment, the home, feng shui for the home, but it's pathways, meridians, nature, and our houses carry these frequency vibrations as well. And we're all part of this grand magical design. So with all of that, on the elemental highway, it's even in alignment with all this root fire energy. we've got a young fire horsey of a day. Pretty crazy. So a young fire horse is the yin and the yang. It's the fire spirit. It's source. It's ancestors. It's the south. It's the other world. It's our dreams, navigating our dreams. But it's in clash between the month and our day. The young water and the young fire are not happy. And the rat and the horse don't get along either. But water is in season. It's at its peak. And we're so close to the winter solstice. So ritual in the Musing with Tonya D, the Shamanic Healing Academy, ritual is needed. But big fire, that's the blazing sun. It's Mars, it's Jupiter that just moved. And it is the sun. What's curious is Jupiter is moving into Aries. Mars is in Gemini. So there's this little dance going on. But it's excitable. It's lively. It's freedom. It's having quickness to respond. It is that Mars energy. It's passionate. It's charismatic. But there's a freedom. This is a freedom horse, and the horse is going against the grain. And again, the horse and the rat clash. They're opposing directions, and fire and water. It's steam. It's boiling over the soup pot. And the water spirit on the month, that's ambition. It's authority. It's a leader for our fire day. But the rat is also power. But this is leadership of power, of peace and clarity and flowing, being in the flow. Where the month and the year, the yang water, that's a power that goes against the heat, trying to put it out. And the tiger is holding the heat as well. So there's a resource there, but it's too wet. So the day isn't able to use it until the hour of the monkey. And that's when the hidden fire is released. This would be an unseen friend, an ally, a spirit ally, maybe even an animal totem. And then we create wealth. Earth for a fire person is wealth. So that might be careers like being a leader in real estate, a stockbroker, a manager of a high-end restaurant. Fire is food. But our day does need nature. So we're really being called to be authentic, to transform, shift, or change our narrative, our story, our script, and to add to the fire the main ingredient. I would say use nature, go with nature, but go with what you intuitively feel for your element of the day. I'm just going with nature. So yeah, back to the messages. And again, we've got the Galactic Center, we've got the Yule, and we've got Jupiter moving into Aries. Those are your options. So I'm actually going to go with the Yule first because it's tomorrow. So exciting. And if you chose the Yule, you got the Hierophant, which is the 5, which is the mind. The mind is in Capricorn. Where earth and logic are kind of structuring our thoughts. Capricorn's an earth sign, so it's like common rights, celebration, establishment. It's moral requirements, actually. It's spiritual progress. It's having that wise counsel, if you will, or a wise, I'm kind of feeling like a Merlin, a sage. There we go. Professional advice, maybe, spiritual power, even having sacred law, more of a spiritual law. It's like the treasure of the ancient teachings. The evolution of our morality might be loneliness, pure relationship with self, maybe some spiritual searching, structured environment, traditional organizations. Something's happening here. Oh, my camera on my phone, which is dying. But there's a story in this card, by the way. There's this little salamander, and he wants to listen to a story. And the Hierophant is being asked by the salamander what he wants to hear. And the salamander wishes to know how to fly like his friend, the caterpillar, which is funny, who's transformed, right? The caterpillar has transformed. So we all have this dream. We have a right to dream. It's a gift from the other world, is dreaming. It's fire. So we can all fly like a caterpillar. We all just do it differently. So it's not wise to give up on our dream is kind of the message. So the Hierophant, the roots are kind of penetrating deep into the ground, wrapping around with secrets and tradition and wiseness and maturity, putting his faith in rituals, if you will, religions, which are more of the strictness of a belief system, the box of it, I guess, but just being able to clarify with spirit, bringing to light the wisdom out into the world. So it's quiet, being in control of yourself, probably musing. He's a wise teacher, a sage, who helps dissolve, I guess, or solve the mysteries of life. So the Hierophant, once again, is leading us to the cultures of the East, the origins of the East, through the image of an ancient wise tree, layering into the roots. I actually have done rituals with roots, whole different thing, but deep into the soil. But the Hierophant actually is considered a high priest, a holder of the highest power of this ancient Greek faith, if you will. So it's this experienced teacher who holds a lot of knowledge and wisdom. It's like, I would call it the library of the sky, about faith, religion, cherished traditions, having calmness, peace of the waters. But it's always solid. It's the spirit for every body. And this has been anthropomorphized, the ancient tree, to be a teacher, a wise teacher. That's why it's called the Hierophant. But she created this image. It's just this deeper understanding of Eastern culture. The ancient trees have meaning. They all do, right? So it's this image of longevity, endurance. It's the toughness through time and space of years. People often use old trees to support houses, temples, pagodas. There's just so much wisdom, protection from big storms or winds. But old trees are also a symbol of human rights within spirituality. And in the past, a lot of the temples were surrounded by a lot of old trees, because they carry the innate wisdom of the ancient temples, just surrounded by trees. It's protection. I'm only annoyed because my trees are gone. I don't want to talk about it, but some of the trees, literally, and the trees themselves, if you were to look into a tree, you can see faces in them. And there's rumors that if you could sincerely pray with these trees, everything would come true. But the old trees also appeared in medieval poetry, carrying messages well. This is where hermits sought them out for retreats to soothe their hearts, having a conversation with a tree. So you can kind of get an image of an old tree and have had this successful kind of transmission, if you will, of wise wisdom energy. So the image of a Greek priesthood in an Eastern language, it's a different philosophical kind of conversation. But being that we have the Hierophant arriving today, maybe you're going to meet a person who is full of all these life experiences that are going to impact you a lot and change your entire life in a more solid kind of way, solidarity. So what you need to do now is literally take a breath, a pause, slow down, listen to their instructions, their message, and maybe pay attention to the image of old trees that are rooted in sustainable rocks. It kind of makes us think of those who are stubborn, maybe conservative, self-righteous, maybe insisting on maintaining what they think is reasonable beliefs, right? Because they are confident that they are experts in whatever is they're musing about. Maybe they have a deep understanding of everything, all the things. So it's just great to have a strong opinion, a firm stance. But if you insist on doing what you want, you got to meet someone else and not listening to other people. Opinions are awesome. You're hardly going to improve the village. So instead, just stand still like an old tree, become aged and wise. And maybe in some cases, maybe you are too stubborn. Maybe you're leading yourself into isolation with your own musing thoughts. What's curious is this is the constellation of Taurus, and Taurus is stable. It's an earth element as well. But it also kind of makes us think immediately of the image of those who are sensual or gentle, prefer stability. Maybe they have a deep sense of who they are. Maybe they're able to give direction to others. But they're always more of a spiritual support, just listening and with skill. Maybe they're giving advice based on their own experiences so that they're always loved by those around, telling the story, it's community. But the Hierophant, just like Taurus, is literally the most stubborn in the circle. It brings the values of spirituality, of learning. It kind of suggests that you may need a mentor, a teacher, a spiritual guiding, somebody to assist you with your lessons in life, guide you. Maybe it's kind of serious. Maybe it's something deep inside. Maybe there's some deep lessons of emotion or morality even. Could be somebody in your family, an old teacher. I'm still seeing a sage. I don't know. Let's go with the sage. And the Hierophant also means the occurrence of events related to Sagittarius, religion and belief. So in our near future, which we're tidying up the ends of the season of Sagittarius, that's why that's streaming in. But it's generally related to religion and faith. But the activities are really useful, raising our own awareness of traditional values streaming in. It's kind of the season. But being otherworldly on an intuitive feeling kind of a day, you may be feeling the messages of spirit streaming in from the wise or sage of the other side. That's kind of what I'm getting with that. Anybody else? Chime on in. Okay, if you chose Let's go with the Galactic Center. If you chose the Galactic Center, dun dun dun, you get the Ace of Cups, the heart of our emotions. And what's curious is the moon is in Scorpio, so we're probably feeling a little protective about our beliefs, our opinions. We're protecting our heart and our emotions. The one and the cups, that's our emotional field. The Ace of Cups reminds me of a song. It's not called the Ace of Cups, it's called something else, but it does belong to the water element. So this refers to the deep emotional experiences of family, harmony, passion, love. It's the moon. It's our emotional foundation. It's the fourth house. It's family, memories, memoirs. I kind of like memoirs, but it's the warm feelings. It's our imagination. It's emotional. It's spiritual. Being nourished on both quadrants. It's love. It's happiness. It's the season. It's peace. It's kindness. Poetry, scripting your own poetry, even. But it is even having excelled in your happiness, abundance. So it's kind of also the first flings of love. It's gentle emotions. It's compassion. Could be fertility, even. It's birthing something new, motherhood, gifting. So suddenly we see a drop of water that's falling on this calm surface of this lake. And it's creating those bubbling circles, like I just talked about the rock skipping across the lake. Um, yeah, so it's kind of creating the movement. And then snapdragon, just like that, every strand of emotions bubbles out, spreading across the lake, creating these weaker little ripples. So these origins of this tiny little ripple, if you will, this earthquake that are shuddering through the waters, it's those stormy waves that rushing to the seashore. So this is like the first kind of disturbing, exciting feeling of an emotion of passion and love. You know, when you get those inside little, I don't know, bubbling through the gut kind of things. But it's familiar and it's harmony. So a tiny drop immersed into the river of humanity in the cosmic soup. And over time, we're all in this stream together. We're flowing together and we're sweeping along the flow into the ocean, spinning within those emotions. These are river streams. I would call them cosmic river streams, actually. But there's a smooth surface of the water of the cup. It's like the glass mirror. It's like when the sun hits a lake and it reflects. So once we experience this, it's like being immersed in this abyss of transparency. It's saying to pay attention to the pain of our intuition and then literally raising our cup higher and take a bigger sip. Because in the depths of the cup, there's light of insight, there's knowledge that comes from deep within us, within our essence. So these are the guards of the holy cups. These are the residents of the deep sea, the souls of the sea, even the fish of the sea. Kind of reminds me of Pisces a little bit, but they move along the ocean in the flow. So this is like life being a dance. The movements never stops. And the moon, from the waning to the full moon, which we're moving through some other dimensions, I guess, but it's pushing this ocean, the flow, the ups and downs, the rhythms. It's always in flow inside the deepest part of the ocean. So in some tarot, I want to call them stories, this shows that there's this emotional perception, a seed that's been planted in our lives. Even though we've not realized it yet, the emotional foundation is planted. So these seeds are going to sprout. They can appear in any form. It could be strong attraction, strong emotions, intuitive perception. Maybe you're being more compassionate or sympathetic in a response. But it could also be an offer, a gift, or an opportunity, or an event, something like that. But this is our voice, our emotional voice of the heart. That's what the cups are. But the ace is the direct perception, which comes from our own heart and trusting what our feelings are telling us, which is kind of where the moon is. So you should kind of find out how to discover your mind, connect with spirit, and allow the power of your emotions to lead you down that pathway in a new direction. But it is also the beginning of love, it's pure affection. So, this often appears when you want to start a new relationship. So it's maybe you're at the stage of your life where you want to be filled with love and happiness and contentment and peace and joy. But the meaning really, it's signaling the beginning of an emotional foundation. So it's a great message. You might meet a dreamy partner who's perfect for you. So wish and wish well, especially if you're single. This just marks new beginnings, new relationships, maybe a new career, working in a new direction, something that makes you feel emotionally satisfied. But as always, they carry both positive and negative Negatively, those new beginnings sometimes may not be what you want. Um, and the challenges may hinder you like water. But if you're strong, you're going to overcome the valley. But the pure water droplets of the cup really are, it's purity, it's the innocence of love, it's being in the flow, the power of intuition, it's our deep voice, which we all have within our soul. So if you want to be happy, successful, it's about listening to your inner voice and just knowing exactly what your heart wants. So it's also meant to put an end to the things that are bothering your soul emotionally, getting your mind stuck. It's the stage, literally, it's birthing anew. I would be contemplating what I want my new year to be. It's kind of time to start over, give yourself a chance to start a new journey, putting your past aside and enjoying the present, the moment. And then that's when you move forward and it feels complete, it feels whole. Hope that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I talk to myself, which I do. It's great. Okay, our final message, if you chose Jupiter, which is awesome. Who do you think our final message is from? The Tower. I love this card. 16. That's why I love it. It's faith. It's opening to accept spirit, spiritual faith. It's my favorite number. I'll tell you for another reason. But it's like, are we believing in our spiritual faith? I would say maybe go back and listen to the full moon in Gemini. This is about interruption, turmoil, an awakening. Might feel devastating. Maybe it feels like chaos or crisis or frustration or freedom. Maybe some enlightenment. Could be like an earthquake in the earth plane. So this particular one, there was a seed that drifted in the wind and it landed in a strange land. And from there, it's taken root and it's sprouted into this big, huge tree. So it's like time is passing by. The trees become steady. Reminds me of the Book of Life. It's majestic. It's this ancient tree among all the giant trees. And they're all kind of together creating this masterpiece of nature. There's birds, there's bright leaves, there's singing, there's chirping. So there's space filled with the sounds, the notes, the melodies that are inspired by the sun. There's the blue sky, and there's the restful, peaceful dreams that are flickering specks of light. They're actually singing sounds into the waters, if you will. But there's branches, there's refuge. So this is like, it really is kind of the Book of Life or the Tree of Life. Doesn't matter what you are, animal, plant, but you have a village, you have a home. So there's paradise for everyone to wander through if you can look for it. And it's like in space-time. It's massive. It's rooted deeply into the ground. And the branches seem to like reach to, I would say, the other world, just brushing into the galaxy, the stars, and meeting the moon. But the roots, they're plunged deep into the ground. They're enveloped, they're surrounding within the beats, beneath the darkness in the depths. This reminds me of the lower world, just saying that out. But you can see that there is blessings in these trees, different blessings. Mother Nature's recovering her gift. She threw down her spear from heaven. So everything a tiny sprout builds after centuries is now destroyed in the blink of an eye. The flash of shocking, some decisive lightning. Things are breaking down. They're withered. They're sultry. They're white. They're shattered into fragments. The earth quaking, trembling in front of this disaster. So the tower actually does refer to disaster, sudden change, crisis, release of emotions, lowering of our egos, enlightenment, seeing the truths that are hidden behind the illusions. So it's like a dramatic turnaround. And that's really the only way to break the established frameworks, broken by the harsh, violent kind of hands of truth, if you will. So this creates purity, reevaluation. It's the system of our beliefs and choices. But the tower brings a sudden, unexpected change. Expect the unexpected. So it's like 1 minute we have it all, and then everything's just washed away. It disappears. So we can't really grasp this literal image of the tower. There's so much happening in this card. But the symbols got this external meaning. And the picture might look really awful in real life, but this has so many messages in it in many forms. Similar to the death card, but it's not about true death. And the tower does not always talk about collapse or ruin. It's kind of the breakdown to the breakthrough. And when we think we know it's right, it will remain the same. But the tower does come to change our deepest beliefs. And that's kind of the energy of this card and the energy of today. The good thing is that it allows us to build, to rethink our belief systems. So it's kind of dramatic, it's unexpected change, but it can really lead to a more positive outcome if we try to find the blessing and the gratitude in it. So it's like a giant tower that's collapsed that brings this immeasurable danger, but it's probably something that we do not want, but it's going to happen anyway. It has consequences. But the meaning represents our own inner rebellion, maybe a struggle after a period of suffering, surrendering to the suffering. And the protests will surprise a lot of people that you're doing, maybe even shocking yourself. But on the positive side, it does bring that the storm is passing. You're going to live with a stronger, more optimistic spirit because it's not otherworldly. And it's a Galactic Center day. So I feel like the messages are aligned or aligning. And our feelings will affirm that we are ready. Our intuition will be our beacon, our light, our guiding light through this entire process. So I would really ask yourself, like, where your heart feels that you authentically belong. Maybe even what does your emotional security feel like? What are your feelings telling you? And what does symbolize a new life for you, a new philosophy, a new belief in your story? What does your future life look like? Write a new script. Are you finished editing the script? I should edit mine some more. Maybe have a heartfelt belief shift or transformation. So the energy is this powerful force for change and transformation, and just being mindful of how we respond to our inner world, our inside voice, the inner dialogue, along with how you respond to others using your outside voice. So in all situations, events around you, if something comes literally out of the blue, unexpectedly, like the tower, really take a pause, take a breath, do a long inhale before you respond, and just make sure that the orchestra is in alignment with your personal medicine. It resonates with your beliefs authentically to you, and may the force be with you and aligned, attuned to your resonance, the sound of your seed notes, the root channel, the nature note. It's time to root our manifestations into the root center, physical empathy, manifestations into the earth star. So you may get the physicality of it, actually. It's a physical thing. So what you act upon is speaking from your belief station. So I would affirm with my heart what my heart believes to be true through a nature type kind of an action. I would maybe do a ritual for that, a ritual in your behavior that actually rings true for you and through you. When I see ritual or rings of nature, I feel Carolyn Mace to me. But you may have scripted the story of what rings to be true in your heart space. So I would be like, Ahhhh, Ahhhh, Ahhhh. That's blessings, by the way. Listen to the Yule podcast, and then it's an easy listening. It's only 15 minutes. And I would be doing the ritual in the musing group, and just know there's more to come. Things are kind of busting through the seams. It seems, appears. But the message is, feeling your emotions, get in touch with the moon, Scorpio. And you're going to be cutting away things that don't emotionally fit your belief system today. Ahhhh, that's kind of what's happening. Lots going on. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Oh, and the moon.
Blessings to you, my energetic beings, and welcome back to the Musing Moon Meditation. This Musing Moon is brought to you by the last new moon, a super moon at that, in the season of Capricorn, December 23rd, 2022, arriving at 5:17 a.m. Eastern, 4:17 Central, 3:17 Mountain, and 2:17 a.m. Pacific. But go ahead and check your local time zone to see when she apexes for you. And if you have been tuning into the Musing with Tonya D podcast, I'm actually searching for a new theme for 2023. I generally coin or theme my seasons every year. And this year, I'm actually feeling the season of the witch or the year of the witch. Why? You may be wondering why. In the Dagara cosmology, the elements play a huge role in gift and purpose, our personal medicine. And this upcoming year is the season of nature, which I have already done a nature series. You can go ahead and check that out. I believe